Good morning, everyone. In the last session, we discussed about what is the data JPA and why we need to go for data JPA. So can you guys tell me what is data JPA and why we need to go for data JPA? Data JPA is used to communicate with the database table by using our Spring Boot application. When we develop Spring Boot application, in order to communicate with the database table, we are going to use data JPA. Right. When we are going for data JPA, we need to understand three components mainly. What are those three components? One is data source, second one is entity, third one is repository. So what is the meaning of data source, guys? What is the meaning of data source? Data source represents set of connections with the database table. It will create connection pool for us. We need to configure those properties in the properties file. Application.properties file will be available in order to do that connection pooling. Online students, is it clear? Is my voice clear for online people now? Yes. Data source will represent set of connection properties, and next one is entity. What is the meaning of entity class? What is the meaning of entity class? The Java class, which is mapped with the database table, is called as entity. What are the annotations available? What are the annotations available to represent our Java class as entity? @entity, @table, @id, @column. Like that, there are several annotations available to represent our Java class as an entity class. And the next one, we are having repository interface. What is the meaning of repository? What is the meaning of repository, guys? Repository is an interface provided by data JPA, which is used to perform CRUD operations. Right. What are the repository interfaces we have? There are two repository interfaces we have. One is called CRUD repository. Another one is called JPA repository. What is the difference between CRUD repository and JPA repository, guys? CRUD repository will provide only methods to perform CRUD operations. JPA repository providing the methods to perform CRUD operations plus sorting plus pagination as well as query by example. All right. I have given the task to develop first JPA application. Are you guys able to develop? So can you tell me what are the methods available in the CRUD repository? Save all, find by ID, find all, delete by ID, delete all, exist method, count method. So like that, there are 11 or 12 methods available in the CRUD repository. All right. So let me develop our first application by using data JPA. File, new. I'm using Spring Starter project. So I'm going to create the project with a name called 08 Data JPA application. Data JPA application. Maven I'm using as a build tool. Package in.ashok.it. Next, dependencies. What are the dependencies we need to select, guys? Two dependencies. One is JPA starter, another one is MySQL driver. Okay, let me select data JPA dependency and I want to communicate with MySQL database. So let me use MySQL driver. Then next and finish. So with this, my project is getting created now. So once the project is created, the second step, we need to configure data source properties and ORM properties. So with which database you want to connect? What is the URL, username, password of the database, and show SQL, DDL auto. What is the purpose of show SQL? whatever the queries it is generating. Show SQL is a property that is used to print queries on the console. DDL auto. What is the purpose of DDL auto? To generate the tables automatically. Okay. So my project is created. Online people, please confirm. Is voice clear? Online students, could you please confirm? Is my voice clear for you? Clear? Very good. Now, so we are going to use data source properties here. To configure data source properties, we will write spring dot data source dot username. Don't use DBCP. Data source dot username and spring dot data source dot password. Database password you need to configure and spring dot data source dot URL. With which database you want to connect, that database URL you need to configure. Along with this, we need to configure show SQL DDL auto. So these are the keys for that. Spring.jpa.showSQL, spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl auto update. So these are ORM properties. We will call them as ORM properties, and these are called as data source properties. You got my point? Database username and password. I have MySQL database in my system. The username is root. The password is also root. What is the data source URL for MySQL database? First, let me open MySQL Workbench. What is the MySQL Workbench, guys? What is the MySQL Workbench? It is a client software in order to communicate with the database. So I will create one new database in this one. Create database. I'm creating database SBMS 45. That is the name of the database. Use SBMS 45. Then show tables. So currently there are no tables available. This is my database name. Can you tell me the URL? JDBC colon MySQL colon localhost colon 3306/SBMS45. This is my database URL that is available in my local. Database is available in the same computer. That's why I'm using localhost. MySQL database will run on the port number 3306. And in that MySQL, I created one schema with the name called SBMS45. So once you configure data source properties, you just run the application and see data source is getting created or not. Whether your properties are correct or not, you can verify by running our application. Right click, run as boot application. Right click, run as boot application. So see the console. If your properties are incorrect, it will give you one error message. Okay. Now check this one, guys. Data source is created or not. Ikari pool is started. Ikari pool started. Ikari pool stopped. I'm not getting any problem. That means my database properties are correct. My URL, my username, my password is correct. Okay. So with this, we completed 2 steps, guys. We are able to create the boot application with the JPA starter, MySQL driver. So if you go to form.xml of our project, the starter dependencies will be available. In the form.xml, starter data JPA, MySQL connector. You no need to download the driver. Driver will be downloaded by Maven only. So we are using MySQL connector here. Then once this is completed, then we need to create entity class. What is the meaning of entity class? The Java class which is mapped with the database table is called as a entity class. Now right click on the package, new class, keep in a package called entity. So I'm creating a class with a name called employee. Right? Employee entity I'm creating. In that you take the variables private integer employee ID, private integer employee ID, private string employee name, private double salary, employee salary, private string employee gender, private string employee country. Like this, I'm taking few properties: ID, name, salary, gender, and country. Now, so this is a normal Java class. I want to make it as an entity. How to make it as an entity? By using a annotation @entity. @entity. Table is mandatory or optional. If I don't write the table, it will consider my class name as a table name. If I don't write the table, it will take the class name as a table name. I don't write that. Now, I want to represent this as a primary key. I will use ID. What is the purpose of ID? This variable is mapped with the primary key column in the table. Okay. Now, that's it. Column annotation optional, table annotation optional. We need to generate setters, getters. If you use a long bar, no need to do that. If you are not using long bar, you need to generate setter methods and getter methods. How many of you know long bar? 1, 2, 3. You don't know what is long bar? Okay, no problem. We'll discuss about that. Currently, I am going with the setters and getters. Currently, I am going with the setters and getters. And I am writing toString method also. I am overriding toString method and I have generated setters and getters. Setters and getters are mandatory for the entity guys. When you are writing a entity class, it's mandatory that for your variables you need to generate the setters and getters. Okay, with this my entity class is ready. What is the next step? We need to create the repository interface. Okay, so we are going to create an interface by extending the properties from JPA repository. JPA provided two repositories for us. One is called CRUD repository, another one is called JPA repository. So let me create one repository, new interface. New interface, I'm using a package called repo. So I'm using employee repository. You can give any name for that. As it is talking to employee table, I'm using employee repository. If I create interface like this, it is called marker interface. Is there any use with the marker interface? Is there any use of marker interface? There is no use of marker interface. So what we are going to do? Extends the properties. Extends the properties by using CRUD repository. Extend the properties from CRUD repository. When you are extending the properties from the CRUD repository, you need to tell what is the entity belongs to this repository. What is the entity? Employee. ID, integer. What is the data type of the primary key? Primary key data type is a integer guys. So I'm taking the repository, I'm creating the repository, my repository extending the properties from CRUD repository. So subclass can extend the properties from superclass. So when subclass is extending the properties from superclass methods we can access directly. Now also my interface extending the properties from CRUD repository. That means I can access all the methods available in the CRUD repository. What are the methods in the CRUD repository? If you go to the CRUD repository, you can see that save method, save all method, find by ID, exist by ID, find all by ID, count method, delete by ID, delete all by ID, delete all. Only for delete there are 5 methods available. Based on the different scenarios, we can use the delete method. So this is CRUD repository. In the CRUD repository, there are methods available. Yeah, last person. What is the purpose of save method? Object will be saved into database or record will be saved into database? Object will be converted into record will be saved into database. What is the difference between save and save all? Okay. Okay, good. Sit down. Good. What is find by ID? No, last one. Yes, find by ID is a method which is used to retrieve the record based on the given primary key. Come on. What is the meaning of find all by ID? What is the purpose of that? No, I did not get you. What is the meaning of find all by ID? Get the records, get multiple records based on the primary keys. Find by ID is used to get the record based on the single primary key. Find all by ID to get the records based on multiple primary keys. Okay, what is find all? What is find all method? To retrieve all the records from the table. Find by ID, find all by ID, find all. Find by ID will retrieve the record based on the single primary key. Find all by ID will retrieve the records based on multiple primary keys. Find all will retrieve all the records from the table. Yeah, sit down. Next one. What is exists by ID? What is the purpose of exists by ID? Exists by ID. If you can understand English, then you can answer that question. What is the purpose of exists by ID? You did not do the assignment. Then you can answer. What is the purpose of exists by ID? What is find by ID? No. Find by ID to find the record based on the given ID. Find all by ID to get all the records based on the given primary keys. Find all to get all the records. Exists by ID to check the presence of the record. Whether record is available or not, we can check by using exists by ID. What is count method? Count. No. What is count method? No, wrong. Count method is used to get how many rows available, not columns. How many records available? One record means one row. How many rows available we can find by using count method? What is the use? 2 days. You are not able to understand 11 methods. What is the use of coming to the class? Sit down. Yes. What is delete all? Delete by ID. Delete all by ID. Delete multiple records based on multiple primary. So is it difficult, guys? Sit down. Is it difficult? Now some people has done the assignment before coming to the class. What is the benefit you are getting? If you do the assignment before coming to the class, what is the benefit you are getting? You are trying to learn the concept on your own. You are trying to learn the concept. It's not difficult. There are n number of tutorials available in the YouTube, in the Google, ChatGPT is available. You can learn the concept. You need one guide. Trainer will be there for you. But completely don't depend on trainer. Don't depend on the trainer completely. Trainer will be there for you to solve your doubts. But you have to study on your own. Then only you can survive. I want to make you independent by end of the course. Overnight you cannot become independent. It will take 3 to 4 months of time. So with this 4 months of time, after this 4 months of time, you should be able to learn anything on your own. You should be able to develop anything on your own. That is my intention. Are you getting my point? So I am very serious about the assignment. You have to complete. Right. So we have created one interface by extending the properties from CRUD repository. In the CRUD repository, there are several methods available. Those methods we can access directly by using our interface because our interface is child super, child parent. Child can access the properties of the parent. Okay. So once interface is created, we are done. We no need to write the single method. We no need to write the single query. JPA will take care of CRUD operations for us. Okay. Now let us go to the test class. I want to get the IOC container object. What is the return type of the run method, guys? What is the return type of the run method? The return type of the run method is configurable application context. Now I want to get the repository bean object. I created a repository. I created one repository. Now I want to get the bean object of the repository. Repository is a class. A repository is an interface. My repository is a class or my repository is an interface now. Interface. For the interface, IOC will create the object. IOC will not create the object. IOC will create the object or IOC will not create the object. Then what it will do? Now I'm going to write the code like this. Context dot get bean. Context dot get bean of employee repository dot class. Context dot get bean employee repository dot get class. So what is the meaning of that? I want to get the employee repository object. My question is, employee repository is a class or employee repository is an interface? Can I also create the object for the interface? Is it possible in the Java? No. Do we have any implementation class for that? No. Then how you will get the employee repository object? How do you get the employee repository object? Yes, that is the beauty of the data JPA. You are writing one interface. Data JPA will provide implementation for your interface in the runtime. Data JPA will provide implementation for your interface in the runtime by using proxy class. But if you go for JDBC, you write the class, you write the method, you write the logic, you write the query, you write the connection, everything programmer is responsible. But when I go for data JPA, I'm just creating one interface without any method. My interface extending the properties from the data JPA. Now, for our interface, data JPA will create one implementation class in the runtime. That implementation class is called as proxy class. With that proxy class, we can execute the methods to perform the CRUD operation. We no need to do any query creation here. Now let me check what is the class object I am getting. So we already discussed. Configurable application context is an interface. IOC object is created. So it is an interface. Implementation class object is created and stored into that variable. Similarly, whenever you call get bean method of employee repository is an interface. For the interface object cannot be created, IOC container will create the implementation class for the interface by using proxy. That proxy class object will be returned and will be stored into this variable. Now, let me print it. System.out.println repository dot get class dot get name. Repository dot get class dot get name. What is the purpose of get class dot get name? What is the purpose of get class dot get name? You know which class object is stored into this variable. We are sure for interface object cannot be created, but I'm calling get bean method. What is the meaning of get bean method? What is the meaning of get bean method? Get the object of the bean, but it is an interface. Can you get the interface object? No. When you call get bean of repository, IOC container will provide implementation class of your interface. But am I writing the implementation class? I am not writing the implementation. I am not writing. Who will provide the implementation? IOC or data JPA? Data JPA. Implementation will be provided by data JPA. That implementation class is called as proxy class. Using that proxy class, we can perform CRUD operations. CRUD repository methods you can call by using that proxy class object. Save all, find by ID, find all by ID, find all, found, exist by ID, delete by ID, delete all by ID, delete all. There are 11 or 12 methods available to perform CRUD operations. Okay, now, so let us run this program and see what is the implementation class available for our repository. Run as boot application. Go to the console, check the class. Which class object it is giving? Oh, see this. What happened? What is that? Table got created. Table got created. Because in my database, I have entity in my project, employee. But do we have employee table in the database? No. Automatically table got created. Why table created automatically? Because we have added one property, that is DDL auto. When you add DDL auto, schema will be generated dynamically. Dynamic schema generation. DDL nothing but dynamic schema generation. It is a checking. Boss, guys, so many things are happening in the background. That is a framework. Creating table is only my requirement. Creating tables in the database only one project requirement or every project requirement. Instead of do we have this feature in the JDBC? Now tell me, will anybody use JDBC in the real time? Why? You need to create lot of tables, you need to write lot of code, you need to do everything on your own. But in the JPA, they will do everything for you. You just use their classes, their interfaces, they will play the game for you. You just watch, they will play the game for you. If you go for JDBC, you have to play the game. You have to write everything. But in the JPA, you don't need to write anything. Lot of difference. It took 20 years of time. Initially, in the 1995 or 1996, JDBC came into market to develop database communication logics. But once the Spring Boot in 2015, almost in 2015, the Spring Boot came into market, data JPA came into market. It took 20 years of time to solve the problem. When the Java came into market, officially 1991, production 1995, 1996. When Spring Boot came, 2015, how much gap is there? 20 years gap is there. In these 20 years, what they have done? They reduced the burden for the program. 20 years back, people used to write everything on their own. But nowadays, no need to do anything because they identify loading the driver, getting the connection, creating the query, executing the statement, closing the connection, insert, update, delete, retrieve. These operations are common for everybody. These are common logics. That's why they came up with a concept called framework. That framework will provide you common logic. You just focus on business logic. You tell them what table you want. That's it. You just tell them what table, you create your entity to represent a table structure. What table, what columns you want, you tell them. They will perform the operation for you. Okay. So when I go for DDL auto, table also created automatically. What is this show SQL? It is printing the query on the console. What is the format SQL? The query, if you don't write the format SQL, query will be printed in the single line only. But here, properly it is formatted printing in the multiple line. That is called pretty printing. Which is called pretty printing. If I don't write that format SQL, query will be created, query will be printed. But in the single line it will print. But I want a proper structure of SQL, format SQL I am using. Now, check this one. What is the class name we are getting? Who created that proxy? Data JPA created the proxy. When your interface is extending the properties from the JPA repository, you see this one? What is that? Bootstrapping data JPA repositories in the project. How many JPA repositories available in our project? Only one JPA repository available. What are these messages, guys? What are these messages? What are these messages? Today morning only we discussed in the tools class. What are these messages? These messages are called log messages. Who is printing the log messages? Who is printing this? That means you are not attending tools. Who is printing these messages for us? Boot is printing these messages. What is appender they are using? What appender they are using? Console appender they are using. Sir, you attended tools, right? What is the difference? Other institute, you attended tools class in other institute, you are attending here. Any difference is there? Hmm. Any difference is there? Not a difference is there. Okay. So he already attended tools in other institute. Again, he is attending in the morning class. So I am asking. It's 2 days completed. For us, 5 to 6 classes. Actually, for Spring Boot people, GitHub is not there in the syllabus, but I already covered that. If you see the syllabus document, GitHub is not there. But anyhow, I'm taking for the project people, so I covered the GitHub also for you. Logging we started today. Along with this Spring Boot knowledge, tools also very important for you. So I have shared already the Zoom link for the tools classes. I think 3-4 times I have sent the message in the group. Every day I'm reminding to attend the tools classes, very important for me. Right. Yeah. So we are understanding what is this JPA repository and how that JPA repository is working in the background. Whenever you start your application, the Spring Boot is going to scan how many repository interfaces available in the project. Currently, how many repository interfaces available in the project? Only one. It is loading that repository. It is creating the implementation for that repository by using proxy. JPA will take care of implementation for your interface. You don't need to do that. Now, it will create that implementation object. It will give you the proxy class object for you. How we are able to know that it is a proxy class? I'm printing the get class dot get name. When I print get class dot get name, you can see the class name. Is it our class or it is a proxy class? Proxy class. Okay. In the interview, they will ask this question. When you are using data JPA, you will create only interface. You will not create the implementation. Then how can you get the object of the repository? How you will call the repository methods? You need to tell them that. When you create the data JPA interface by extending third repository or JPA repository, JPA will provide implementation for our interface in the runtime by using proxy classes. Using that proxy class, we can call repository methods. There are several repository methods available. Save all, find by ID, find all by ID, find all, count, exist by ID, delete related methods available. 5 methods for only delete operation. 3 methods for retrieval operation. 2 methods for save operation. Okay, so like that there are 10 plus methods available in the thread repository. Are you clear with my point? Yes. Next, I want to insert one record into table. So to insert the record into table, repository method I am going to call. Am I going to write an insert query or I will not write the insert query? Am I going to write insert query or I will not write the insert query? I will not write the insert query. Check it. Already table got created. Show tables. Employee table is available. Select star from employee. Okay. Any record is available? No. Empty table is available. I want to insert the record. To insert the record in the JPA, there is a method called save method. Save method is expecting entity object as a parameter. What is the parameter for the save method? Entity object. Take the save method, pass the entity object as a parameter for the save method. What is our entity? Employee. So create the object for employee, set the data. It is a standalone application. That's why I'm creating the object manually. I'm setting the data manually. So in future, we are going to develop a web application. Data will come from the UI. Will insert. But it is not a web application. There is no UI. It is a console application. So I'm setting the data manually. You got my point? Yes. EMP employee is equal to new employee. EMP dot set employee ID. Okay, 1. EMP dot set name. employee ID, employee name, employee salary, emp dot set employee salary, some value. Okay, next one, employee dot set gender, country, set country. Okay, like this. Perfect. So my employee object is ready. My entity object. I'm creating the entity object. Now I'm going to pass the employee object to the same method. Next, I'm going to give out.println record inserted. If record is inserted, I will print a message. Record inserted. Are you clear? Good. Let's run the application. Is it going to create the table once again? No. Why? Why it will not create the table once again? Table is already available, sir. Table is already available. When the table will be created, if it is not available, then only it will create that. It's very intelligent. JPI is very intelligent. It will check table is available or not available. If not available, create. If available, don't create. It will modify automatically. It will alter the table also. It will alter the table. I will show you that. Okay. Now, employee repository object I got. Employee entity object I created. I'm setting the data for the entity and I'm calling the same thing. Alright. Right click, run as boot application. Run as boot application. Go to console. Table is not created. Oh, what it is doing now? First it is checking whether the data record is already available. It is executing a select query with the given employee ID. Is there already any record available? No, not available. Then what it has done? Inserted the record into table. So who is writing these queries for us? Programmer writing these queries. JPA writing these queries. JPA writing these queries for us. Okay. So it is checking. When I am calling the save method with the object, it is checking with the given primary key, record is already available in the table or not. If it is not available, then it is going to insert that record. Am I writing the insert query? I am calling save method. Save method is taking object as a parameter. So the object they converted into insert query. That insert query they are executing and it is inserted into database table. Alright, let's go here. Select a star from employee. Check this. Record is inserted or not. How many lines of code we are writing to insert a record into table? Just we are calling save. Object creation we are doing now, but in future we don't create it. It will come from the UI. So officially we are writing only one line of code to insert the record into table. That is called save method. If it's same thing, if I want to do in the JDBC, how many lines of code I need to write to insert the record? In the JDBC, if I want to do this, how many lines of code I need to write? 5 lines of code I need to write only to insert the record. Now, I want to insert, update, delete, retrieve. 4 methods. Insert method, update method, delete method, retrieve method in one table. 4 methods. 4 into 5, 20 lines of code you need to write. If for one table to perform operations, 20 lines of code you need to write. Observe. Observe this. One method, in one method, we need to write 5 lines. Okay. Now, I want to perform in the employee table, I want to perform insert plus update, insert plus update plus delete plus retrieve. So, how many lines of code you need to write? 4 methods multiplied by 5 lines. 4 methods multiplied by 5 lines. So, total, your code is going to be 20 lines. Okay. In one method, we will write 5 lines in JDBC. In JDBC, in one method, 5 lines to perform DB operation. If you are using JDBC, in one method you need to write 5 lines to perform DB operation. Now I am having employee table. In the employee table, I want to perform insert, update, delete, retrieve. 4 methods. 4 methods in every method, 5 lines. So total how many lines of code? 20 lines of code. In my project, I am having 3000 tables. In my project, I am having 3000 tables. For every table, how many lines? 20 lines. Now, 3000 tables multiplied by 20 lines. How many lines of code? Come on. 60,000 lines of code we need to write only to perform CRUD operations. Only to perform CRUD operations, 60,000 lines of code you need to write. How many days it will take? Just imagine. You want to develop an application. That application is using a database. You want to communicate with the database. So to communicate with the database, you are using data JPA. You are using JDBC in order to communicate with the database. If you use JDBC in one method, you need to write 5 lines of code to perform the database operation. So for one table, I want to write 5 methods. 4 methods. 4 methods multiplied by 5 lines. So for one table, you need to perform CRUD operation. For that 20 lines you need to write. One table requires 20 lines of Java code to perform CRUD operation. In my project, 3000 tables available. Then 60,000 lines of code I need to write. If I use a data JPA, just methods you need to call. 3000 tables. For every table, 4 methods, 12,000 lines. 60,000, 12,000. Gap is there. Yes or no? So 60,000 lines of code if you want to write to perform CRUD operation, 1 month of time is required or 2 months of time is required. And again, what about the testing? All the methods, all the queries are working as expected or not? What are the exceptions we are facing? Again, for testing, another 2 months of time required. 4 months of time it will take for me. If I use a data JPA, I need to write only 12,000. In 15 days, I can do that. And testing, I can do in another 1 week of time. Because it is not our logic. It is a framework logic already tested. 4 months of work you can complete in 1 month when you go for data JPA. Are you guys getting my point? But same requirement. You can implement in the JDBC, you can implement in the JPA. If you go for JDBC, 4 months time required. In the JPA, within 1 month you can complete the same task. Not in the industry, people will use JDBC or JPA. JPA. Why? Boilerplate code is removed. You don't need to write the queries also, man. You don't need to write the queries also. You just call the method, they will do the logic for you. They will play the game for you. They will create the table for you. They will create the query for you. They will do all the operations for you. You just design the entity, that's it. You design the entity, you create the repository, and you call the repository method. Able to follow me? Good. Yes. Tell me, what is the data JPA? Why we are going for data JPA? Come on, guys. What is the data JPA and why we are going for data JPA? JPA stands for Java Persistence API. Spring Data JPA is one module in the Spring framework which is used to communicate with the databases. So in the JPA, mainly 3 things are important. Data source, entity, repository. That's it. Data source, entity, repository. What is the data source? Connection properties. Where we will configure connection properties? Properties file. URL, username, password. Who will load the driver? Who will get the connection? JPA will take care of it. What is entity? What is entity? Entity is used to map our Java class to the database table. What are the annotations to map Java class to the table? Annotations we use? Entity, table, ID, column. What is entity? Entity is used to represent our Java class as an entity class. What is ID? To map our variable to primary key column. To map our entity variable to the primary key column. What is the column? Map variable to the column. Table, column are optional. Entity ID mandatory. And for the entity, setters, getters are mandatory. You got my point. Next one. What is the repository? Repositories are used to perform CRUD operations. How many repositories available in the JPA? 2. What are those two? CRUD repository and JPA repository. What is the difference between CRUD repository and JPA repository? CRUD repository provides only methods to perform CRUD operations. JPA will provide the methods to perform CRUD operations plus sorting plus pagination plus the dynamic query creation. Okay, how to create a repository? Extend the properties from CRUD repository or JPA repository. So when you extend the properties from CRUD repository, what is happening? When you extend the properties from CRUD repository interface, what is happening? It is creating the proxy class. What is happening, guys? It is creating the proxy class. That proxy class we can use to call the methods. What are the methods available in the CRUD repository? Come on. Save all, find by ID, find all by ID, find all, count, exist by ID, delete methods available. That's it. You just need to call the method. They will take care of the query creation. They will take care of query execution. You just need to call the method. That's it. Are you clear? Good. And already I have inserted one record in the table. Okay. Now, salary I inserted as 1000. I want to update the salary. I want to update the salary. I'm changing the salary to 4000 now. Changing the salary to 4000. Which method I am calling? Save method is called as upsert method. In the data JPA, save method is called as a upsert method. That means that method is a polymorphic method. What is the polymorphism? What is the polymorphism in the Java? One object exhibiting multiple behaviors. One object exhibiting multiple behaviors. Now, I am the example for polymorphism. When I come to the class, I'm a trainer. When I come to the class, I'm a trainer. When I go to my office, I'm an employee. Okay? When I go to my cabin, I'm a boss. When I go to my home, I'm a family member. So I am one person. But based on the situation, I will change my behavior. One object exhibiting multiple behaviors based on the situation is called polymorphism. When I come to class, I will act like a teacher or I will act like a trainer. When I go to my cabin in the institute, I will act like a boss. My employees are available. When I go to my home, I'm a family person, family member. When I go to my office, I'm an employee in the company. Are you guys getting my point? Based on the mood, based on the situation, based on the environment, my behavior will change. Based on the behavior, based on the situation, my behavior will change. Here, save method is a polymorphic method. Save method is a polymorphic method. Save method is called as upsert method. Save method is called upsert method. Sir, what is the meaning of upsert method? Single method can perform update plus insert. That method is used to update the record as well as to insert the record also. That's why save method is called as upsert method. Are you clear with my point? Okay. Now, already my record is available in the table. What is the salary of Ashok now? 1000. Okay. Now I have changed the salary to 4000. I'm calling the save method with the same record. Just I modified the salary. I modified the salary. Okay, right click, run as boot application. Check the console. Check the console. What is happening now? First it is checking whether the record is available with that ID or not. Employee ID 1. With ID 1, record is already available. Then does it perform insertion or updating? Boss, already with ID record is available, salary is modified. In the database, whatever the record is available. In the entity, whatever the data, there is a difference. In the database, 1000 available. In the entity, 4000 available. So JPA is going to update the record. So that's why it is called upsert method. First time when I execute, when the record is not available, it insert. When the record is available, it is updated. Can I say it is a polymorphic method? What is the meaning of polymorphic method? Based on the situation, it is changing the behavior. If record is already available, it is updating. If record is not available, if any method is doing like that, that method is called upsert method. Update plus insert we will perform by using single method. If you go to CRUD repository, can you see any method with a name called update? Why? Save method is doing the operation. So you have save method, find method to retrieve, delete method available, but there is no update method. Why there is no update method? Save method is used for insertion plus update. That's why this is called upsert method. Now let me go to here, change the ID to 2. Now employee name I'm taking as John. Salary I'm giving 5,000. Male, country USA. That's it. Okay. But when I execute this save method, what will happen now? What will happen when I execute this application now? First, it is going to check if the employee ID 2 record is available or not. Record is not available, then insert. If the record is available, then update. It is a polymorphic. Are you able to follow me? Yes. Let me run this. Run as boot application. Go to console, check that. First, what it is doing? Select query, where employee ID is equal to 2. With that ID 2, no record available. Then what the save method is doing? Insert that record into table. Go to database, select star from employee. Now, 2 record is inserted. Because with ID 2, there is no record available. That's why it inserted that record. Now, if I modify the employee country from USA, I am making it as UK. Okay. Then what will happen? Why it will update? Into 2 already record available. And when the record is already available, it will compare whatever the entity data, whatever the record data, compare. Both are matching or not matching? Not matching. Country is USA in the table, in the entity country is UK. First, understand carefully. When I execute this application, first it will check with the ID 2, record is available or not available. Available or not available? Available. Then comparison. Entity data, record data, same or not same? Same or not same? Country is not same. Country is not same. In the table USA, in the entity UK. Then what JPA will do? Update. It is going to update. Now, check this. Run as boot application. Go to console. Yes. First it is checking the record is available or not with ID 2 available. Then what it is doing? It is updating the record in the table. Now, if I run this program again, what will happen? It will select the record with the ID 2 available or not available. Available. Then compare. Entity data, table data, same. It is same. Then Arey Baba, when I run this program, first it is going to check if ID to record is available or not. Record is already available. Then it will compare entity data, record data, same or not same? Same. If it is same, does it have to do anything? Simply ignore. Simply ignore. If it is different, then up. First it will check for the record is available or not. If not available, insert. If record available, compare. If there is a difference, then update. If there is no difference, keep it. No need to do anything, right? No need to do anything. That is the intelligence of the data JP. That is the intelligence of the data JP. Observe. I am not changing anything. In my table, select star from employee. Here, UK is already available. Okay. So the record available in the table, the data available in the entity, any difference is there? No difference is there? Any difference or no difference? No difference. Now check it. Run this application. Go to console. Only select query executed. There is no insert, there is no update. Why? Record already available and data is same. Whatever the data is there in the entity, the data is same. That's why no need to update. If there is a difference in the data, then it will update. If record not available, then it will. So how much logic they have implemented in the background? They are checking first record is available or not. If available, that record data, our entity data same or not. If it is the same, don't do anything. If it is not same, then up. This is framework, predefined logic, common logic. We are using that method. You are writing one line of code, save method. In the background, 50 lines of code will exist. Are you getting my point? If you go for JDBC, you need to do everything on your own. In the JPA, they will do everything for you. Framework will provide common logics for the application development. You focus only on the business logic. Are you able to follow this? Any confusion on the same method? What is the save method? And what is the behavior of the save method? Save method is used for insertion plus updation. That's why it is called as a abstract. How the save method will work in the background? How save method will work in the background? First it will check if the primary key record is available or not. If not available, insert. If available, directly update. Compare. What comparison? Entity data, table record data matching or not? Not matching. Update. If matching, leave it. No need to do anything. Good. Sorry? Class name you want to change. Why you will change class name? New table will be created. If you change the class name, new table will be created. Okay.
When we update the data, again we set all the properties.
You are setting all the properties. That's why it will set all the properties. If you want to update only particular property, custom query you need to. By default, it will update all the properties. Without primary key, remaining properties will be updated. Yes. Okay. So with this, we are able to develop our first application by using data JPE. We are able to develop first application by using data JPE. We understood how to create application with dependencies. We need to select one dependency called JPA starter, and we need to select MySQL driver. Okay. JPA starter will take care of connection pool and all the card operations part. MySQL driver to communicate with the MySQL database. If I want to communicate with the Oracle database, Oracle driver I will use. That's it. Then data source properties we are configuring. ORM properties also we are configuring. Entity class we created. What is the purpose of entity? What is the purpose of entity? Java class which is mapped with the table is called as entity class. Annotations. What are the annotations we are using, guys? At the rate entity, at the rate ID, at the rate table, at the rate column. These are the annotations we can use. These are the annotations we can use by using this entity class. And we created a repository interface. What is that repository interface? To perform CRUD operations. It is used to perform CRUD operations. There are two types of repository interfaces available: CRUD repository and JPA repository. CRUD repository and JPA repository. CRUD repository will provide the methods only to perform CRUD operations. JPA repository, pagination, sorting, dynamic query, which is called query by example. Are you clear with my point? Next. We are able to test our application. Okay, to test our application, I'm getting the repository bean. Repository is a class or repository is an interface. Repository is an interface. Then how you are getting the object of the interface? Proxy. We are not getting the repository object. We are getting the implementation class of the repository. Who is providing the implementation? Data JPA providing the implementation. Data JPA providing that implementation. Okay, good. Next one. We are calling save method. What is the purpose of save method? To save one record into table. To save one record into table. How the save method working in the background? First, it will select the record. If not available, insert the record. If available, compare the record. If matching, skip. If not matching, update. So this is called upsert method. I want to save multiple objects at a time. What is that? Save all. What is the parameter for save all? List. You add the entities objects to the list. You pass the list to the save all method. Multiple records will be inserted at a time. Okay, that is a batch operation. I want to insert 10 records. Instead of calling save method 10 times, add the 10 objects to the list. You pass the list to the save all method. Are you clear? Right. Let us see. So employee ID 3 I'm taking and employee name some Smith. Okay. And country Canada I'm using. This is employee 3 object I'm taking. Already 2 employees inserted. Employee 3 I'm taking. Leave this. Okay. Now let me take one more employee. Employee 4. ID also 4. So some robot. Salary some 7,000. Male. Country Japan. Alright. Employee 3 and employee 4 available. I want to store both employees at a time. Okay. Then what you will do? Repository dot save all. 3 and 4. I want to convert them into list. How to convert them into list? Arrays dot as list. Employee 3 comma employee 4. It will give the list object for you. EMP list object will be available. Pass the list object as a parameter. Now in that list there are 2 employees available. You can add 10 employees also. All the employees will be saved at a time. Save all. Save all is also upsert. It will check every record. If not available, then only it will insert. If available, it will update. If save, it will skip. Now run this. Check the table. Select a star from employee. What happened? 2 records are available. ID 1, ID 2. Now I'm trying to save 3 and 4 by using save all. Right click. Run as boot application. Go to console. Wow. Checking the first record, checking the second record. Both are not available. Inserted first record, inserted second record. 2 records inserted at a time. Go to table. Select a star from employee. Now see, third record, fourth record inserted. Yes. third record and fourth record is also inserted in the table. That is save all method. Okay. So save we understood, save all also we understood. Now I want to go for find by ID. Now I want to go for find by ID. What is the meaning of find by ID? Get the record based on the primary key. Find all. Here in the CRUD repository, we have save method, we have save all, we have seen. To retrieve, find by ID, find all by ID, and find all. To insert the record, there are two methods available. To retrieve the record, there are three methods available. To delete the record, there are five methods available. Count method exists by two methods extra. 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 2, 12. Total there are 12 methods available in the CRUD repository. Is this clear? Right. How to work with the find by ID? Come on. Repository dot find by ID, ID 4. I want to get the employee whose ID is 4. What is the return type of the find by method? Optional. Java 8 class. Optional is a class introduced in the Java 8 to avoid null pointer exception, because with that ID, record may available, record may not available. That's why it will give in the form of optional. How to check the record is available in the optional? If by ID dot is present, if by ID dot is present, then system dot out dot println by ID dot get. It will get the object, it will print the object on the console. Okay, good. I commented the save all method. Why? Already the records are inserted, no need to do insert again. Okay. So I am calling find by ID to retrieve the record based on the primary key. So that with the given ID, if I give 4, ID available. If I give 40, ID not available. So that's why it is returning the object in the form of optional. Record may available, may not available. How to check the record is available or not? Is the present method I am calling. What is the method I am calling, guys? Is the present method I am calling. So if it is present, then I will get the record. If it is not available, then I will not get that record. Okay, fine. I am printing. Save this file, right click, run as, boot app, check the console. I am writing the toString method in the entity, that's why data will be printed. Select star. Record is coming or not coming? Select star from employee. 4 ID is available, right? Why it is not coming? Oh, I given 40, not available. ID 4, run as boot application. Yes, select query is executed. Record. If it is JDBC, you need to write the select query. You need to write get the result set. You need to iterate the result set. Lot of stuff you need to do. But here you call find the ID. They are retrieving the record. They are giving the record in the form of object. Object relational mapping. I am saving the object. I am retrieving the object. In the background, they will convert our object into SQL query. They will convert the result set into Java object. That will be taken care by data JPA with the ORM concept. Object relational mapping. One object, nothing but one record. You will deal with the objects, they will deal with the records in the map. Are you clear? Now, I want to get only 2 records, ID 3 and ID 4. I am getting find by ID. What is the meaning of find by ID? Only one record based on the primary. I want to get the employees whose ID is 3 and 4. Find all by ID. I want to get all the records. Fine. Can you try those methods? Delete methods also available. Okay, fine, good. So I hope we are able to develop first application by using data JPA. We are able to understand first application by using data JPA. Now, assignment I am going to give you. Develop Spring Boot application to read CSV file data and store it into database table. CSV file is nothing but comma separated value. Okay, I'm going to give you one which is monitor price 7,500. Comma separated value. This is product ID, product name, product price. One row is nothing but one record. Then next one, two. This is CPU and price 17,500. And third one, keyboard price 2,500. Mouse 500. You need to take one file that is a CSV file. That file will contain the records like this. CSV nothing but comma separated value. When you run your boot application, your application should read the data from the CSV file. It should insert into database table by using data JPA. Are you clear with the requirement? Are you clear with my requirement? So you need to show me this code in the tomorrow session. You need to develop one project. In that project, you need to create one file. File is .csv, comma separated value. You take that file, you read the file data, and you insert that data into table. So you will insert with the save method or save all method. One record or multiple records you want to insert? Multiple records. So which method? Save. So the logic how to read the data from the CSV file. If you can write the logic to read the CSV file, then easily you can insert the record into database table. Are you clear with my point? Can you do the assignment now? Yes, perfect. Affair people, any questions, anyone? Able to understand what is data JPA? First example we developed. Only first example. I want you to complete this assignment before coming to tomorrow's class. Any questions? What is the benefit means? It is not a no. If you don't write this, it is a marker entry. But if you write like this, it is not a marker entry. To call the methods of CRUD repository, we are extending the property. That is our one. I don't want to write the methods to perform CRUD operation. I want to call the JPA methods to perform the CRUD operation. To call the JPA methods, we need to extend the property. If you extend your properties, so whatever the methods available in that will be available for your interface. Your interface is not a marker. Okay. Yes, you have every employee will be represented as one object. We can do that. Altering we can. Any questions, sir? Yes, that is the assignment. You need to think. You need to think and you need to do it. Okay. We need to mention in the real time they will be supplied through environment properties. So whenever we are doing the deployment, dynamically those properties will come. We don't mention like for practice we are keeping like. JPA will internally use the hybrid. Think about question. Yeah. Internally, it will convert our object into SQL query. There is a concept called direct classes task that will convert our object into SQL query and it will execute in the table. We will discuss about that. This is first example. Cool. You can do that. So, today is not the last day of the JP. Today is the first exam. Okay? Another 1 week almost 3-4 days we are going to work on the JPA. We can write our own queries, we can customize the queries, we will do lot of options. Okay? Thank you. Please practice and work on the assignment before coming to tomorrow. Bring your laptops, I want to see the code. Okay, thank you guys. Online people, any questions for online students?
Sir, can you please
Yeah, hi.
show your entity class once?
Sorry?
Can you please show your entity class? Yeah, entity
Yeah,
class.
this is my entity.
Sir, sir, in database table, our table is created like first employee ID, then employee country, then employee gender, and our and inside your code, first employee ID, then first
Sir, order is not
employee
important,
gender.
sir. Columns order is not important.
Okay, okay,
Columns order is not important.
okay, sir. If
Sir,
I
one
want
question.
my
Yeah, hi. Come on, tell me.
The question is like, let's say like first time we already created we defined the structure or yeah, the entity relationship diagram. We created a tables, the required table, right, for the actual project.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
let's say after like once I want to freeze it, right? Like I don't want any other developer to create a new table. Is there any way like to restrict, because I don't want mistakenly they should
Yes,
use the
sir.
add entity and then like create a
Yes,
new
sir.
table.
This, yes,
Can we
update is there
restrict it?
now. Yes, sir. Update is there. If you keep create now, it will delete the old table, it will create the new table. We'll discuss about the options for the DDL auto.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
If
thank
you
you.
use create, every time it will delete and will recreate the table for you.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, sir. Can you go to that employee repository?
Employee repository. Yes.
Yeah, here actually you are extending the CURD repository with an interface, right?
Correct.
Why can't we create our own class with implements the CURD repository, sir?
What is the use of that, sir? If you implement done, again you are writing all the logic. It is something like a JDBC only, right?
No, no,
The
no, no.
main
What I'm we create a class which implements the CURD repository so that we can get the methods from there and use it, right?
no. What is the meaning of implementing an interface? You need to override the methods. Again, you need to write your own logic.
Okay, got it. So we can, with this we can directly use those methods.
Yeah, directly. The main advantage of extending is we want to reuse their methods. We don't want to
Okay.
write our
Need
methods.
to implement. Okay, got you.
If you implement
Hello,
a class now, you need to write the logic again.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, here we don't use at the rate component. Then how I see
Sir,
understand?
this is it is a special repository because it is extending from the CRUD repository. Na? Then JPA will recognize your interface. JPA will provide the implementation. You don't need to write a component or you don't need to write repository here.
Okay.
JPA will scan your repository. So when you run the application, if you see in the console also it is saying that found one JPA repository. It is doing the component scanning directly because our interface extending from that. Bootstrapping the JPA repositories, it found one repository. They will provide the implementation for that repository directly. You don't need to do this component for JPA repository. If it is a normal Java class, to represent as a Spring Bean, you need to use a component service repository. For this one, it is not required.
Sir, in place of CRUD repository, we can use JPA repository, no?
Sorry?
In place of CRUD repository, we can use JPA repository,
Yes,
no?
sir. We can use that, sir. We can use it. We can use it.
Sir,
Sir, there are two repositories. One is CURD and second is JPA. Then, sir, if we use JPA instead of CURD, then it will be the same process, sir.
Process is same. When you go for JPA repository, additional functionalities also you can. JPA repository I will explain, sir. First work on the CRUD repository. So tomorrow I
Okay,
will
okay.
tell
You
you.
are
Day
you
after
are going
Monday
to
I will tell you
teach,
JPA
na?
repository. Yeah, I will teach JPA repository also.
sir,
Okay, thank you.
here you are writing that related DB tables in the main method. Is it recommended in real-time example? In
No,
real-time
madam.
application, we are unable to write it, no, sir.
No, madam. Listen to me. So we are practicing the JPA concept. In the real time, controller will be available, service classes will be available. Whatever the logic I am writing in the start class, this is only for testing purpose. In the real time, this logic will write in the service layer. Service layer will be called from the controller layer.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
This is only for our
Implementation class. In that implementation class only, we are going to be write
right.
this
Sir.
logic, no, sir?
Yes.
Got it.
Hello, sir.
Sir,
Hello,
sir, with this
application
framework,
Yeah, come on, tell
hello,
me.
hello,
Yeah.
sir, with this framework, is it required to have a separate package like a DAO, like where we just do the CRUD operation, or we directly in the service layer we can perform this operation because it's out of box, right? Like this is save and everything is in
For
one operation.
interfaces, we are keeping interface we are creating in a separate package only. Na .repo package I'm using already.
Okay, and for
Services
the
will be available. DAO class not required. When you are going for the
not
JPA,
required here, right? Right. Understood.
when you are going for JPA, there is no DAO. DAO means you are going to write your own logic. But in the JPA, you don't write your logic. You will use repository.
Understood. Thank you.
Hello, show me the application properties, sir.
Application properties. Yes, I already gave in the notes yesterday, sir.
Okay, sir. You can show. Sir, ORM properties is there in show SQL equals to true, sir. You can use the database in SQL. It's okay, sir. We can use the Oracle. We can change it, sir.
Sir, if you are using Oracle, na, just you need to change the URL. That's it. These are common. These are common for multiple databases.
Okay, sir. One you can change the URL.
Database URL, database driver. In the pom.xml, you need to configure Oracle driver. And in the data source URL, you need to configure your Oracle database URL. I gave one video how to connect with Oracle database by using JPA.
Okay, sir.
This is the video, sir.
Sir, if we don't write the
Sir, we can-
ORM properties,
in
then
entity classes,
what will
we
happen?
Sorry, sir.
Hello,
Can
sir.
you come again?
In the entity classes, we can use the setters and getter methods only, or we can use lambda access.
Why lambda in the entity class, sir? Entity means which is used to set the data, get the data. Lambdas are not required. Setters you can use, lombok you can use, not lambda.
Lombok we can use, or setters only.
If you use
Both
lombok, you no need to write the setters and getters manually.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, if we don't write the ORM properties, then what will happen?
Nothing will happen, sir. If you don't write now, your queries will not be printed on the console. You can't see what queries are executing. If you don't write this property, table will not be created.
Okay, it's meant for our knowledge that what queries are applied here. Okay.
Correct.
Hello, sir.
Sir, while practicing, like I was using this lombok and it was not working, so I manually created that getter setter. Any reason, like in latest Java?
I need to check, sir. I need to check why it is not working the lombok. Now I will tell you how to install the lombok in the IDE.
Okay.
If you add the lombok dependency, it will not work, sir. You need to install that in the IDE. I will tell you how to install it.
Okay. Understood.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, I'm getting one error at the time of running of application, sir.
What is the error?
It is telling that add column. Can I paste that error in chat box?
Share your screen. We can see that.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Bhargav, sir.
Share your screen.
Okay, sir. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, I can see. Open that IDE.
Yeah, this is the error I'm getting.
1 minute. Can you open your entity class?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Open your entity. Entity.
Yeah.
Go to entity package.
Yeah, this is actually I've given the same names whatever I given in
Sir, where you have studied core Java? Is this the naming convention for the variable?
No,
Will you write a variable with the uppercase letter?
this one, sir.
Variable name always should start with the lowercase letter, man.
मैं थोड़ा बिजी है था थोड़ा सा ऑनलाइन क्लास चालू है
Variable name you need to start with the lowercase letter, not with the uppercase letter, sir.
Oh, okay,
That is the first mistake you are doing.
Okay, sir.
Every variable, change the variable names and remove the setters, getters and regenerate them.
Okay, sir.
That is one thing. And change your employee table name also. Table name employee is there, na? Change the table name.
Yeah.
Employee, because already with that name table is already available. Let's create a new table. Give the name employee underscore data, something like that. You change the employee table name.
Okay, sir.
And change the variable names. It is incorrect.
Sir, in generation type here identity is kept, no sir? Auto identity difference, what is that?
I have not explained about generators, madam. That is a future topic.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. I will correct these 2 things.
You change the table name and you change the variable names. Variable name should start with the lowercase letter. This is not the naming convention for the variables. You see how I am writing? You see how I am writing the variable names in my class? In my entity, you check it, how I am writing the variables. Am I using uppercase letters?
No, sir. Single letters.
Then you change them.
Okay, sir. Actually, I got an error, sir. Actually, I check it from ChatGPT. Yes.
Don't write the capital letters for the variable names.
Okay, sir.
Starting letter.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, any video is available on YouTube because one question I got multiple times from the Stream API. Select from employees descending order of male and female and salary.
Send that question in the group, sir. I will give the answer for that.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, hi also. So I have one question that when we're reading web MVC in this web structure in the POM file, so we're getting Tomcat server by default. So for
Correct.
database, do we get any by default database or we need to configure that?
Database we are configuring manually, sir. Database also you will get. There is a embedded database. H2 database concept is there. We'll discuss in the coming classes.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm stopping now. Please work on the assignment.